So the recording is up, and then I will just be a minute or so while I'm looking for something to talk about.
All right.
All right. Wait another second before I start talking about stuff. Uh-oh. Alright, so you lost. The game ended anyways. So, to start us off, first thing is that you should basically be fire striking every single time that it comes off of cooldown, unless you are in imminent danger. So that means that you just want to be firing off every single time you get it. Like I said, unless you're trying to shield because you or your team is in danger, right? So unless you need your shield for something else, you probably should be fire striking. This is going to give you more damage output. As the biggest thing is that it's going to be a very consistent source of ult charge. Now take a look at my stream here real quick, because we're just going to review something, and then you can hop into a queue. Tank queues are really fast anyways. When it comes to you as Reinhardt, this is what our gameplay looked like. What we did was we walked into the fight, and we waited for our team, and we walked in, and then we did this. And we did this, and we did this, and we did this, right? And we just stood there and shielded. Now, shielding is not wrong. It's not
You
bad
still
to
there?
shield, but... Oh, yes. Can you hear me?
You still there?
Yeah. Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
In Discord.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay. So, at what point did my sound cut out?
You said take a look at my stream. Am I
Okay.
supposed to see something?
Yes. Are you able to see my stream?
I'm not. What do I
You're
do?
not. So, is it displaying yours or one of our
Yes,
icons? Yes.
mine.
You just click it, and then it should give you more options.
Oh, yeah, I see yours. Okay.
Yep. All right. So then, to reiterate what I was saying, you heard the. I think I said that before I started streaming, right? I said the whole fire strike thing, right? So we already.
Yeah.
I already said that. Okay. So continuing then, basically what happened in our game, right, was that we walked into the game, and we walked into the fight, and then we just went like this. And we shielded, and we shielded, and we shielded, and we shielded. And shielding is not bad by any means, but there is a right way and a right time and a wrong time to be shielding. And so let's walk through a couple of the right times to be shielding, and then when you probably shouldn't be shielding. So, right times to be shielding are when you or your team are low or specifically in danger, and note that there's a difference between the two, right? I can be low HP and hiding in my spawn and completely safe, and I can be full HP and in the middle of their team and be very much in danger, right? So you need to
Right.
be shielding when people are in danger, and typically being low has an effect on your danger level. Typically, if you're low health, you are in more danger. So you shield for if your team or you are in danger. You shield to block abilities and ultimates. You shield to when you are pushing and taking space, and when you're backing up and leaving space. And then you can also shield if you're blocking a very much a high amount of damage, such as if like your team is in a grav and you need to shield them so that they don't die while they're in grav, right?
Okay.
So those are times where you do shield. Now, when you do not need to shield is when you're just soaking up everyday random spam damage, right? That's just gonna be any old random damage that they're shooting at you. This typically is not a very high priority and doesn't need to be shielded, because there's two problems with that. Firstly, you're wasting your shield for when it actually is needed, and then secondly, this is another big one, is that we're not actually having very much of an impact when we're just sitting here and shielding, right? This means that we're not going to be able to go in and swing on things and do things, and then we're going to be lacking in value. So our shield's going to get melted, and then what's going to happen is after our shield gets melted,
Gotta
um,
run.
say that again?
Gotta run when the shield melts.
Yeah, you got to run. Then you can't actually go in, right? Because if you try to go in, then they just kill you, right? So you can't. Then the question arises of when do you ever go in and when do you ever swing on something, and then that means you're never getting your ultimate, you're never killing things, you're never getting damage. So yes, it is important to as a tank, you need to actually tank and you need to create space, but it is essentially equally as important on tank to actually go in and accomplish and kill things and do damage, right? Because if you're not, then you're not really accomplishing a ton. So does that make sense?
Yeah. It does, yeah.
Yeah, so when you have full health and full shields, at the very start of the fight, rather than immediately shielding, you should probably be running in and swinging, and then think about shielding after one of those circumstances comes up, right? So so our gameplay would look more like this, where come in, we run in and we swing, we run in and we swing. Oh no, they started shooting at us. We're low. We're backing up now, right? We reach our health,
Okay.
we reach
Yeah.
our shield, then we're going in again. Okay.
Okay.
So you can
Yeah.
queue up for another game here, and then we
Okay.
can go from there. Okay. Since you are, I guess we can just like, well, just let me know as soon as you get into a game here. Because it should be fast. But I guess some other tiny tech things here on Reinhardt. Note that your Fire Strike does have a. Oh, I hear you're in a game now. Note that your Fire Strike does have um a charge up time, so that means that like when we press it, it takes a second before it actually throws it out. So if we're trying to do a quick corner peek, we can just press it and then turn the corner. That way we don't have to be standing on the open for very long. Very tiny thing. We can go more techie things later if we need to, but it's not super big.
Okay.
You're here. It's good to have backup.
Always glad to lend you a hand, Ziegler.
Attack commences in 30 seconds.
My friends, that's resources standing around. There's glory to be won.
Five, four, three, two, one. Attack commencing. Escort the payload.
Let's keep it going.
Though you do want to be throwing it off a cooldown, make sure you actually know where enemies are before you are throwing it. You don't want to waste it, you just want to use it frequently.
So
Yep,
should I be shielding?
you can just stand behind cart, right? Like, just pay attention to your team and right, do they actually need a shield or not. If they don't need a shield, then you can use cart and cover and then not actually need to waste your shield until you get closer. Okay. Okay, good decision not to push forward without your team there. And was that shield hopping that I saw you doing? Did you know that you were doing that, or is that just
Yes.
yes?
No, well, I learned that.
Okay, cool. That's something that like that's really good, and it does a good time to use it. Make sure you're using that more frequently. We could have used that when we were approaching and engaging earlier. Pretty much anytime you're moving from point A to point B and you're trying to do it fast, you should be shield hopping. Unless you're low, of course.
Where's my team? I have trouble with positioning.
Well, it's good that you're paying attention.
Okay, we're down to.
Probably would be a good idea to look at the Sigma while he's trapped right next to you there. Potentially
I
there.
didn't even see him.
Yeah, so make sure we're being aware of that because Sigma was like just trapped right next to our face, and then we can probably charge that and kill him super easily.
Was
And
he
then
behind me?
no, he was just like right in front, like right to your front left, or sorry, front right. Like so, he's on your screen.
It looks like my team's going top. So here, I don't know if I should be pushing or going to the payload.
Oh, you probably should be pushing it to press the advantage. Payload is usually the afterthought. Winning the fight is more important than just pushing the payload a couple meters. Because then if you
Okay.
lose the fight, then you can't push it at all, right? And you just restart. Hey, good shattering. Uh oh. Walked past her there.
Do I chase that Sig up top?
Yep.
Do I chase or do I?
Yes, you should be like in this situation, right? The cart's going to move itself. If Sigma's by himself, you can chase him. If he has this whole team with him, then that's maybe a different story. But yes, you can push forwards and chase after kills if you know that you have your whole team with you and it's just a lone Sigma.
Okay.
Now there, just be careful. Make sure maybe you can be angling your shield upwards. That way you can stop the beam.
Yeah, in
Not.
that case, I was super low. Oop, I'm never gonna go out there. In that case, I was super low. When I put my shield up, I looked at my health.
Mhm.
It was like 95. Of course, at that point, it's too late.
Yeah, I'm just saying that like if we hold our shield like angling it upwards, then we can maybe block the echo who's above us, but it's not a major thing. Nice.
Yeah, that's Genji.
As a good habit to get into, I'd probably recommend requesting healing when you're low. This is just gonna get your supports to look at you sooner and faster because they can hear and therefore see that you need healing sooner rather
You
than
know what
later.
key is? Do you know what key that is?
I'm not sure if it's I try X. I don't know if it's automatically bound to that or not.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
that's
you
it.
go. Uh-oh. So we
Yeah,
got
I mean, I
good.
can't move. That Genji's all over me.
Yeah, so when Genji's on top of you, in a lot of cases, you're able to just swing him out really easily. So just go and swing at him. You do more damage than he does. Like in a 1v1 against Reinhardt and Genji, you have the advantage.
I don't even know where that's coming from. Oh, I got rocked out of my ult.
All right. When you are taking damage, it will show you on your screen the direction that you're taking damage from. So it'll show you next to your crosshair. You'll receive a red tick marker in the direction in which you're taking damage. You also see it on the corners of your screen and the sides of your screen, which direction you're being damaged from. So next time someone shoots you, just look at the red markers, and then that will show the direction that it's coming from. Okay. Consider trying to charge him, as that's going to be.
I can't even see him.
Yeah. So in that case, right, like we just mean, I think a lot of right now we're looking a lot of awareness problems. So we'll maybe get into some awareness soon here, but in any case, maybe looking to charge him is going to be a really good option, because then we can stop him from doing things and like basically one shot him.
Oh,
All right. So specifically with shielding, make sure you're watching for abilities, as that ended up just screwing us in a lot of cases where we just get rocked and slapped and stunned, and then we're dead immediately afterwards. So make sure keeping your eye out for those abilities, because they have been screwing with us. Then besides that, when it comes to awareness, right? Make sure that like I think especially like when the Genji's jumping around their heads, make sure like looking up more and expecting him to be up in the sky, because like we're a lot of times like he's jumping above our heads and we're just looking straight on and going, where the heck is he, right, when we know that he's above us. So make sure we're looking up and around, and really when somebody is around you and you can't find them, in a lot of cases you just want to do like just a quick 360 and look all around, and then you can kind of zero in on where you saw the red blur coming from. So in general, there, make sure that we are just looking to pay more attention to where the Genji is, so that he's not just dancing around their head and getting away with free damage, and then we can kill him and then move on.
okay.
Hard to just sit around knowing there's someone out there that needs to be blown up.
For your own safety, get behind the barrier. Five, four, three, two, one. Attackers incoming. I recommend moving behind the barrier. They stop the pain. Stop. Damage output increase. For your own safety, get behind the barrier.
Uh,
When you're no longer shooting at people, like just somebody leaves your field of view, stop shooting. That way you're not slowing or down your movement speed, as well as preserving ammo.
Oh my god.
Good kill. All right, we didn't.
must have got rest. I never even
Yeah.
saw him.
So two things there, right? Firstly, we didn't know that Mercy rezzed him, right? So we weren't paying attention to that. Secondly, we didn't even hear him or see him when after the fact that he gets rezzed, right? So I will definitely go more in depth on awareness after we're done here, but make sure they're paying attention to the fact that they're on Mercy, and every time they ever get a kill, we wanna, like our team gets a kill, we just want to watch their bodies and be aware, hey, they might go for res here, right? And paying attention to that. in general, team composition dictates play style. So when there are different characters, we play differently. So we want to pay attention to what characters are they actually on.
Oh, I lost my ult. Again, just no clue that he's even there. I have
Yep.
no idea that there's a Hanzo next to me.
Mhm.
Analyzing previous combat performance.
I don't want to play Riss anymore. This is not. I don't think this is going to be.
Nice slams. Maybe stay in there and actually shoot at the Ana so you can finish her off rather than just kind of getting in there doing tickle damage and then leaving. Right now, you do want to leave if you're under more pressure, but if it's just a Ryan and an Ana and Ana's half HP, you can maybe just stick around to secure the kill.
Okay.
Okay, now Torb started to get her, but once again, watch the Mercy reses because that's something we can very easily shut down if we're just watching for where did we kill people and where's Mercy gonna go, right? And try to res. So we killed the Hanzo and the Mercy res the Hanzo. So watching for that
Yeah, I
is.
didn't even see that.
Mm-hmm.
Genji killed everybody. Is it okay to do that to stall? I realize I can't really.
No, usually you're not going to want to do that because it really you're only stalling for what 5 seconds there, and then in that time you know your ultimate's not going to get a ton of value. You're waiting for your team. Typically, it's better to wait for the fight to begin to use your ultimate than to do it in between a fight or after you've already lost the fight. So notice that your team got back well before their cart was even close to finishing.
Yeah.
So you didn't really even need to go for a stall in that instance.
Oh no. C9. That's why I don't stick around to fight Anas.
So in that case, we were already low health. That's something to keep in mind. And then on top of that, we ended up missing a couple shots, which maybe we'll go over after we're done here. Well, just some longer topics I'm holding on to.
Okay. Oh, there's two. Guys?
30 seconds.
We're not free targeting. Speed now.
Nice kill. Okay, good game.
Oh,
So in that situation, there's a little bit where we were just kind of rolling around in ball form. So make sure that if we're just rolling around, that we're trying to do something like slam or shoot or do something, right? If we were going into stall mode there, maybe stall mode wasn't necessarily necessary if they weren't a second away from capping, and since you had a bunch of teammates there with you and you're full HP, right? So you're in that situation, you're able to go in and do things. Now let's talk. We're gonna go over some different topics. So, firstly, here I'm going to be streaming as well. If you'd like to take a look, don't hop into a queue quite yet. So, firstly, on the topic of aim and mechanics, what were you saying your sensitivity or not what would you say, but what is your sensitivity and DPI at?
for ball, it's like 800.
DPI?
Yeah.
And then what's your sensitivity?
Is that different?
Yes, your DPI is your mouse sensitivity outside of the game. Your sensitivity is what it is inside of the game. So
Yeah, I'm looking at my options here.
hmm.
There'll be controls, sensitivity,
Hmm.
15.
Okay, so you have 800 by 15, so that means that your EDPI, which is them multiplied together, is 12,000. So for reference, mine, which is I would say an average low sensitivity, is 3,600. So yours would be basically 3 times, a little over 3 times what mine is, right? So when I do one full 360, you do 3 full 360s, right? So that's just to put into perspective. In general, the majority of the gaming community agrees that when you lower your sensitivity, you get more control when you're looking for precise precision. And when you're running a character like Ball, who wants to be able to shoot and hit headshots and track effectively, you might want to consider lowering your sensitivity a little bit. And then that's just going to be able to help you aim better when you're doing that. Now, yeah, and then what the very minimum that you should be going for, you shouldn't go below your ability to do one full 360 with your mouse space, right? So like if you have your mouse pad, you should be able to do one whole 360 from left to right, which is 180 either direction you turn, right? You're able to do a 180, which is important for your ability to turn. And then if you do not already have one, like if you were to lower your sensitivity, you'd need a larger mouse pad so that you're able to actually have a higher sensitivity and have room to work with. So that's just a suggestion if you're looking for some more accuracy, because it did look like it was hard to control how you were aiming when you would slam in on top of somebody. Now moving on, let's talk about
So,
awareness.
so what would you
Yep.
set it at if it's
Mhm.
at 15 now?
Yeah,
Just
so So for reference, like what I have mine at, and like I said, mine is like an average low. And I'm not saying that you have to have mine, or you have to go below mine, or you have to go like right next to mine, right? It's more so I might suggest just lowering it a bit. My sensitivity in game is 4.5 with a EDPI, or sorry, no, with a DPI of 800, right? So you just essentially, like I said, it's like a little bit over a third. Sorry, a little bit over a third yours is times mine. Sorry, that got confusing with how I was wording it. So if you want, like, that's really, you can go and test it out, like after we're done here, or even right now if you want to. You can just go and try to test it out of what feels good for you, right? Because you don't.
Triple kill.
So wait, you can do a full 360 with that
Yes.
setting?
Yep. It just requires.
Wow.
It requires a bigger, like just a big mouse space. Like my mouse space is maybe from left to right is maybe a little bit over a foot long, maybe like a foot and a quarter or so, right? Something like that.
But
Mhm.
my hand has to turn like crazy amounts
Um,
to be able to
sorry.
do a 360 there.
What do you mean it has a turn?
Like my so if I with when I'm at that setting,
hmm
I can only do like if I take the mouse and move it all the way to the left, so it's almost coming off the desk, or all the way to the right. Oh, I see.
Double kill.
Yeah, you just need a giant mouse space.
Yeah, I mean that's really when it comes to gamers, they do have bigger mouse spaces. I mean, like I can show you what it looks like. I mean, if you want to take a look real quick, I have my camera on.
Yeah, sure.
He is is it loading? Oh, it's not wanting to work. He was doing that the other day. I don't know what's up with it. So I don't do. None. All right. Well, that's not working. But yeah, I mean, it's you can get like larger mouse pads like really cheap. Like this one, I believe, is just like $15, and it's also like a custom Rick and Morty mouse pad. So you can get large pads very cheap. This one covers my entire desk, and then like I said, the mouse space is a little like from left to right. It's probably probably a little bit over a foot, and then up and down is probably around a foot, something like that.
Okay.
Yep.
And
So good.
don't you? I mean, don't you? How do you have space for your keyboard?
The keyboard's on the left side of that. My desk just has is long enough to fit all that. I'm not sure what the size of your desk is. If you don't have a
Double kill.
large enough desk, then that's a whole other ballpark of needing more desk room. But my keyboard just goes to the left of that space.
Yeah, so your keyboard's just way over to the left.
Yeah, I mean it's not. Yeah, I don't have my mouse and my keyboard on top of each other. it's
Yeah.
it's not
Okay.
very.
So it's
It's
not the same like a work setup.
um. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like it's not super different, but yeah, I mean
Well,
it's not
yeah,
the same thing. Yeah.
usually, so yeah, let me see here. Usually when I'm working, my keyboard's directly in front of me. And I have like a desk mat
Yeah,
that is like maybe,
the
I
keyboard's
don't
a
know,
little
2 feet
bit to my
long.
like so if you're talking like in relation to your body, my keyboard's a little bit to my left and my mouse is a little bit to my right. It's not like they're like incredibly spread out. But yeah, I mean, if you'd like to talk more on that, we can. But we can also move on to other things
Yeah,
if you'd like to.
sorry. Yeah, go ahead,
You're
man.
good. Yeah, so when it comes to awareness. So firstly, let's talk about audio awareness because sometimes like we just didn't hear when people were like inches away from us, and Mercy was resing inches away from us, or Sigma was trapped inches away from us. Right. So we want to make sure that we're paying attention to our surroundings. So audio awareness. Firstly, some settings to take a look at. If you go to options and then sound, firstly, make sure that you have your just regular master volume up high enough that you can actually hear things. You don't want to have this super low. Additionally, I might recommend turning off or down your music volume so it's not cluttering with your audio. And then finally, make sure for your headset that you have Dolby Atmos or not. Let me rephrase that. Sorry. Make sure that with your headset that you have surround sound enabled as an option And if it is not an option for your headset, in game there is an option, and that is Dolby Atmos for headphones. This is going to give you surround sound, which is sound that surrounds you, so you can actually hear your surroundings better. Now, you can have all of those be great or not great and still have decent audio awareness if you are actually actively listening to your surroundings. So make sure that you are listening to footsteps and gunshots and abilities and ultimates. So then that gets like into some other things here. So additionally, make sure that we're just looking at our surroundings. Make sure you're doing frequent, just left, right. You have a high sensitivity, so this should be very easy. Just make sure you're doing 360s once in a while so you can check what's our surroundings looking like. Make sure that when there's a Genji directly above our head that we're looking like up more so that we can see the Genji who's above us. Reinhardt, in case that you were not aware, you can see behind you with your shield. Were you aware that you
Yes,
could
I
do
did
this?
know that.
All right,
Yeah.
so you can also use that when you're pushing in, backing out, and whatnot. Um, Now, I think you did. Make sure you're paying attention to kill feed as well. I think they usually had a good gauge of when you were winning or losing fights, but sometimes like we just wouldn't notice that like Mercy was rezzing in the kill feed or something like that, or
Yeah.
something of that sort. So make sure you're paying attention to that. So just in general, paying attention to your surroundings, right? Now, all this might seem very vague, right? It might seem like, okay, well, yeah, you're saying look better. How do I do that? So let's talk about that. You get better at your awareness the exact same way that you get better at anything that you're trying to get better at, and that is that while you are playing, you are going to make sure that you're actively focusing on it. Right? That means that you're not going to be just playing to play. You're not going to be autopiloting, and then contrary to popular belief, you're not going to purely play to win. As when you purely play to win, you end up stagnating, whereas when you play to improve, you actually end up winning. Now, what that looks like within your gameplay is that you're going to be talking to yourself, and you're going to be telling yourself, awareness, 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 right? And you're going to be thinking to yourself constantly, I need to look around myself, right? And when you think to yourself constantly to look around, well, then you look around. And when you look around, that's really all that awareness is paying attention and looking around at your surroundings. When you do that, that's going to mean that you're going to now have better awareness. When you do that for a long enough period of time, it's going to form it as a positive habit. Once it forms as a positive habit, then you no longer need to focus on it for nearly as long. You don't need to focus on it at all. You can just move on to the next topic and move on from there. Now, I would recommend don't try to do everything all at once because that will get overwhelming since we're talking about a lot of different things. Instead, focus on one category of things or 1 to 3 smaller things within a category if the category is overwhelming or big. All right, does that all make sense? Any questions on any of
Yeah.
that? Yep.
No, I don't think so.
All right. Sounds good. So I think that we should be good. Um, yeah, I think you should be good to hop into your next game. I think in general you do know a lot of the tech stuff on your characters, and you do know your general play style and what you should be doing, so you're good on that end. There's just some things missing, right? Particularly a lot of awareness things where like we just will either die or give up free kills, or give them advantages because we're not paying attention to what's going on around us, right? So.
What do you have your sound at? You have your
So right now I have mine low because when I coach I turn it down real low, and then note that that's also that's a bad thing if you're not hearing things that I'm hearing with my sound at 25. But typically I have mine up at like 60, but this is just going to depend on how actually loud is that, because it depends on what is your system volume at, how loud does your headphone make it, so that's going to depend on a couple other things. So the answer to that is you should have it loud enough, right? Loud enough so that you are able to actually hear things, right? It should sound
okay.
probably like you don't want to break your ears, but you want to have it slightly higher than you would maybe normally listen to just a video at, something of that sort.
So in this case, with Reinhardt, do I want to increase the DPI so I can swing around more?
Reinhardt, you do have a sufficiently high sensitivity, and like to be honest, like I don't even like I have the same sensitivity across every single character, and honestly, it has not really been a major hindrance in any sense, and in fact that can just make more coherence so that you are not confusing yourself in your muscle memory. Like back in my heyday, right, my tank would be like 4.2, and that's with a low sensitivity, and there are tanks with low sensitivities. It's not a necessity. Yes, with tanks it doesn't matter as much if you're high, so your Reinhardt probably shouldn't matter as much if you keep it the same sensitivity, but with ball where you're trying to aim, you might want to lower it. So if that makes any sense. Increasing it, since it's already high, increasing is probably a necessity. Oh, you got in a game, I didn't notice. I'm watching you now.
Can someone destroy the turret, please?
Alright.
Oh my gosh.
So, in general, as you just noticed, tanks are incredibly difficult to kill, right? Tanks in general are not what you want to shoot at because they're hard. You want to shoot at easy things to kill or swing on easy things to kill. So, that means that your priority targets usually are going to be the DPS and supports. So, that's not to say you never shoot at tanks, right? You shoot at tanks when they're the only thing you can hit, if they're low, if they're out of position, right? But they shouldn't be your focus, primary target.
Oh, missed everybody.
Uh-oh.
Oh
Right,
my
so
gosh.
in that
What a
instance,
disaster.
yeah, so in that instance, right, possibly we could be pushing in and going to like the right onto the soldier if soldier is equally as far as Reinhardt and Roadhog, then you might as well go in and swing on the soldier, right? That sort of idea.
Whenever I place it, just...
Probably should be getting like aggro with that mines, right? Pushing in with it.
TP, 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 TP.
Oh, I'm low.
Crest healing, right? That way they see you and know where you are. Also, walk over to your supports, right? Like, look, be aware where they at and walk to them. They were both on point, right? So sitting at choke's not gonna do very much for you. Nice pin.
Guys, come up, come up, come up. Do not fall, do not fall.
Oh, so loud.
Everyone. Oh, left. Ball.
Commence
They won't. Ball, they don't know. Okay, let's go. Go.
Okay. Not a very big thing, but watch your spam jumping.
Go, soldier.
Yeah, so... Good kill?
I'm pinned. You guys win this.
Yeah, so in general, just it's not a very big priority. It's probably very, very low of a priority, but you want to make sure you're just not going jump because that comes with a couple problems, such as it makes you easier to get headshot because when you go up, you gotta come down, so it's very easily trackable. Additionally, you lose a little bit of control over your movement, and the like. So usually it's not the best of habits to be in to just go jump. But like I said, not super major. Pay attention to just that round. Just like pay attention to where your team is at, so that you can stay with them and whatnot. Besides that, I think that first round went really well.
Okay. I had to leave voice checks. They're so loud. I'll go back
Yeah,
in.
that guy's mic was a little peaky.
What's pain have to do with science?
everything, my strange little friend. Despite our differences, I do respect your work, Dr. Ziegler.
Yep, it's a good habit to be in. 18 easy to charge there. Though I don't know what Junkrat was doing. Just keep doing it off a cooldown. Oh. Not really your job to keep chasing him. You want to maintain the your choke presence, but make sure he's not running through in the first place, because that's very easy for you to just go and swing on him and kill him if you're watching and waiting for that.
Yeah, like I don't even know where he is now. Oh no.
Massive shatter. Really good job. Okay, watch your health bar. If you're full HP and you got shields, I think we're gonna talk about something after we're done here. But we probably should have just been swinging in that instance and continuing to get aggressive when we have that advantage, or just when we're able to, because we're
Okay.
kind of playing passive when we're able to just play neutrally, or even
Okay.
aggressive, which we will go over after we're done here, even though we're running out of time, so we're gonna have to hurry along with it. Yeah, because there's a more complex thing to try to fit into while you're playing.
Okay.
So you just win fast, no pressure.
Ha.
Probably want to be taking high ground, because high ground is fantastic. That means it's also fantastic for their team, which means that you want to contest it and have control over it, because you can always drop down from high ground super easily, but it does take you a while to run up to high ground.
Oh, now I can't shield my team. Should I go over and get him?
Oh, so he's dropping. The thing to consider is that if you were stopping him from taking that high ground, then you don't even need to shield your team, right? Because he doesn't have that space to work with.
Okay.
Okay. Now, you don't want to be sitting here, so if everyone's down there, you can go and brawl and do things, right? It's more so that you want to maintain that until they go, and then you can drop. Okay, Fire Strike a little high. In general, noticing that sometimes when we're Fire Striking, we look up a little bit, and then it just goes down over the
Yeah.
head, so keep your eye on that. Make sure we're just aiming it lower, especially since they're shattered on the floor. Once again, now the fight's over, probably want to reset, go back up to the high ground. Just high grounds are fantastic because it's good natural cover. It means that your team can have a lot of angles to shoot from. They're going to like it, so they're going to come here so you can contest them. And then if they go down main, then you can drop down main, right? So here it looks like they're going down main, so we can probably go down main with them, right?
Regenerating the cellular structure.
So it's got to be funny to watch people in this low rank play this game.
Yep, sometimes.
Helden sterben nicht.
Oh boy. That was a mistake. Oh good, we got it. The boys don't need me.
Why don't I start laying the foundations of aggression scaling? So aggression scaling is the concept that it's just a tool to help manage your aggression. So in this concept, 50% is your neutral aggression. Since you come into every fight and everything's neutral, 50% is just what you start out at. 0% is your passive, and 100% is your aggressive, and you're going to adjust up and down along the scale as things happen. I'll continue on after the next fight.
Okay.
Okay. Don't just request healing. Yeah, make yourself a. I was letting you listen. Yeah, just make sure that you're near your team so they can actually heal you, right? Oh,
Ah,
watch the contest, right? Being aware of that of the top of our screen, so that we're not letting them cap for free. So yeah, continuing, aggression scaling, right? So you adjust upwards along the scale with advantages and with opportunities. Advantages would be if you are like up, an example would be if you're up kills, right? So if we get 1 kill, we go up to like 60. We get 2 kills, now we're up to like 70. 3 kills, and now we're up to like 80, right? 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, right now we're up to 8, 90, 100, right? Um, then opportunities would be like somebody's low, somebody's out of position, etc. You go up in your aggression with that. Now you
okay.
go down the scale if you have disadvantages, which is like if you lose players, or if you have a lack of resources. So let's say you don't have health, you don't have shield, you don't have abilities, right? If you don't have health, then you can't get aggressive, right? Like if you're if you're 1 HP, you have to be at like 0 aggression, right? So things to note with this is that, one, it's very fluctuant. You're not going to go to 100% and then stay at 100% for the next 10 seconds. You're going to go up to 100% and then you might notice, oh snap, I'm 1 HP, now I have to drop to 0. And then I get healed, so I can go back up to 70, right? So it's going to go all over the place. And you have to keep in mind there's a bunch of different things that go into this. It will be maybe a lot at once to begin with, but you'll get used to it and then it'll just come much, much faster. So in general, it's just paying attention to your surroundings and then adjusting our aggression accordingly, because sometimes we're going in when we should be backing out and backing out when we should be going in.
Soldier got around again. I tried to stop him, but
Yeah, there's not always gonna be something that you can do against it. Okay. Know that it's not your job to take care of flankers as Reinhardt, because then what happens if you leave to take care of the flankers?
yeah, there's nobody to get the choke.
Yeah, exactly. And then by going and chasing the soldier, you let their entire team in, and then now your team has nobody on the front line, right? So it's not your responsibility to take them out. Now, of course, if you just see the easy opportunity, then go for it, right? Oh, we looked away from soldier when he's 1 HP, right? Just keep your eye on that. Alright, so we're actually not gonna have a ton of time to review. So typically I take the last 8 minutes. But we have 3 minutes left in the session. So very, very quick review, main points, and then we'll wrap up after that.
Okay.
So review, ability usage, just making sure we're paying attention to when should we be shielding, and then fire striking off of cooldown, and besides that, charging just like as it comes up, and charge wasn't a massive deal. Overall, that was, apologies, my baby sister ran in.
Okay.
So ability usage probably overall goes to like a medium priority for you to work on. Ultimate usage actually is pretty decent. We actually did a lot with it usually, so that's probably like a low to medium priority, maybe even a low priority for you to work on. Just make sure like as ball we weren't using it like in between those fights after we already lost it. Moving on to Reinhardt doesn't really have mechanics. Just target priority. You just make sure we're shooting at the right things. Easy targets, not hard targets. Unless we have the opportunity, and then that's not very high unless like low medium. Then moving on, we have positioning. Positioning, make sure you're using more cover. Good positioning is the usage of cover. Bad positioning is the absence of cover. Make sure, besides that, I don't even know if we talked a ton about positioning. So that's, take high ground in between every fight, right? Make sure you're controlling it, because high ground's great. That's probably like a low to medium. Finally, the high is the awareness slash aggression, right? Just paying attention to when should we be doing what in our surroundings.
Yeah.
To charge. Okay, probably just use Fire Strike earlier in that. Just note that it just does more damage than your regular swings. So whenever you can fit it in, you fit it in.
Okay.
Right. So just to finish off that wrap up, right? Awareness slash aggression was your number one, right? And those two are paired together. But it's also a very massive category, so maybe don't try to do everything all at once. Split it up a little bit. Focus on different things within that. Pay attention, kill feed, your HUD, what's happening above. Right now we should be getting aggressive, right? Pushing in since we are up and we're winning, right? There when you're winning there, we just want to be getting more and more aggro. So yeah, then pay attention to kill feed, pay attention to tab, what team comp are they running, watch for the mercy res. Team comp dictates play style, right? Watching our health bar, requesting healing when we're low, right? There's just that was really the main one that we covered. It was just awareness and aggression affecting everything. So that is pretty much it. Do you have any questions before we wrap up?
No, man, that was great. I appreciate it. Maybe I'll go grab you again sometime.
Well, sounds good. So